Hello and welcome back. Welcome to Part 8A Preview Assignments. 8A is going to be, so we're going to start covering graphing. It's titled 8A More Water Please, but we are starting to work on how to graph data. And we have two types of possible graphs. We have linear and we have nonlinear. For the time being, we will be concentrating on linear, which means I can model a line as something like y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept, labeled as 0b, because the y-intercept occurs when x equals 0. Graphically, x is horizontal, y is vertical. What that looks like is, here is your y-intercept. It's where it crosses the line, straight line, the linear line, crosses the y-axis. We will also be discussing something called the x-intercept. Well, that occurs when y equals 0. When y equals 0. And that's going to be where the line crosses the x-axis. So I draw myself a straight line here. Not too bad. So there's our straight line going between our x-intercept and our y-intercept. Okay. So let's see, we've defined. So for in our equation, I've shown what b is. Now the slope, that's basically a measure of what rate the line is changing in terms of changes in x compared to changes in y. Gives it a slope. So basically m, a lot of ways shown is change in y over change of x, more closely shown as the difference between 2 points on the line. Let's just be coordinate pair x1, y1, and this be coordinate pair x2, y2. My change in y, it's a difference, the difference between this value and that value. That will give us delta y. My delta x is the difference between this value and this value, which will give us the delta x. So that's basically the general background knowledge needed for doing these upcoming graphing lines. We're going to be dealing with linear equations for the most part. Linear equations I can write as a y equals some mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, where here is b, And the slope is found by calculating a change of y and a change of x, which we typically show as two points. There's 2 points on the line in which we'll look at one point coordinate pair minus the other coordinate pair. Okay, enough for background. Now let's start the tutorial, and then we do the questions. Okay, that'll work in the background. And I'll post a picture of that. Interesting. Clear this guy out. And let's have a tutorial. So let's see. Lesson 8, Part A. We are going to graph a linear equation from data table. We will determine slope from 2 points. We will identify the x and y intercepts from the graph. We will write linear equations when given the slope and intercept. If given the slope and the intercept. And we'll set up and solve a linear equation. And pretty good goals. So in the next class, you will need to be able to plot data on a grid and to sketch a graph. You will also need to be able to construct an equation for a line given slope and y-intercept. Again, M and B. You also need to solve a linear equation. Okay, that's some algebra there. Okay, so given the order pairs shown here, plot the points on the grid and then sketch the graph. All right. So recall, horizontal is x, vertical is y. So in this case, when x is 0, y is 9. So let's go up 9. When x is 1, y is 7. So let's go up to y, x equals 1 line, up to x is 7. Okay, when x is 2, y is 5. X is 2, we'll go up the x equals 2 line to get to y equals a 5. Okay, when it's 3, y is also 3, and when x is 4, y is 1. So this here is coordinate point x is 0, y is 9. When x is 1, y is 7. When x is 2, y is 5. When x is 3, y is 3. And when x is 4, y is 1. X is 3, y is 3, with 2 cross. And then we have to draw a line, or sketch a line. And basically connect the dots. And it looks like the dots all go in a straight line. So, solution. And I can't figure out how to get the sound to work on this guy, so. But basically, it's going to show the same thing I did. Hey, start plotting the points. Plotting points. Applying points, drawing a line. And so let's see, how does their line compare to our line? Okay, big picture is look where it's up here. It's at 0, 9, and crosses down here at about between 4 and 5. Let's call it 4.5. 0. That's what ours look like. Okay, 9, 0, and doesn't show 4.5, but I'll see my line's a little off, a little low. So yeah, I go with 4.5, about 4.5, 0 also. So we did a good job in doing this. Okay, so let's see. Y-intercept is at x equals 0, y equals 9, x-intercept estimate, x is 4.5, y is 0. May need those numbers. Next question. Hey, what happened? Went away. Okay. So question 1, part B, review the prompt and enter your response. Check your answers. Look carefully at the change between consecutive y values. Is that change constant? Well, let's see. What we're talking about is between line to line. So between this line and that line, x went up 1. 1 to 2, up 1. 2 to 3, 1. 3 to 4, 1. So x is changing constantly. What about here? Between 7 and 9, minus 2. Between 5 and 7, minus 2. 3 and 5, minus 2. 3 and 1, minus 2. Okay, so we're looking at a uniform, consistent, constant change of 1 in x value, resulting in a consistent change in y value, minus 1, minus 2. So for for delta y over delta x, the way this table is set up, for every change of 1 in x, we get a minus 2 change in y. And it's constant and consistent, so the answer is yes. Now, you need to be careful. The logic, the analysis I just did worked because the change of x was also constant. I mean, if this was true, and I'm making some numbers up here, just say for some reason it was a 1, 2, 3, 1, okay. Instead of a plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, it was a 1, plus 2, plus 3, and plus 1. Because these were not the same, even though these were the same, we could not say it was a constant change. But because it actually was 1 all the way down, both sides, same numbers, we're allowed to say this being constant, which gives us this, which gave us this. Okay, so part C, what's up the line? Okay, we kind of like just did that already. their hint. Oh, okay, I'm going to say -2. And of course, what they did -2. They also did both strategies. This was what I did. They used two points on the line, and you just use the equation. What are the coordinates of the y-intercept of the graph? Okay, that would be the one. X is 0, y is 9. Very nice they have the graph someplace located. Let's do that. Okay, did a little clicking here. So what are the coordinates of the y-intercept of the graph? Well, here's the graph. And again, where's y-intercept? It's going to be when the line crosses the y-axis. So in this case, this is going to be when x is 0, y is 9. Again. Zero, 9. So we got that one called right. Find the equation line. Okay, recall. X plus b, we stated earlier slope was -2. And, oops. And for the y-intercept, that's the value for y. Which is that guy. So y would be -2x plus 9. Hint. C and D, -2x plus 9. Correct. Okay, estimate coordinate of the x-intercept. Okay, now we're going to estimate it, which means pick it off the graph. So, x-intercept is when we're across the x-axis, so that's that point there. And it's about 4.50. So x-intercept .50. The y value of an x-intercept is always 0, so between 4 and 5, which we have. Okay, we got it. Okay, now it says compute the exact value of the x-intercept around the 10th place. Well, we know the equation. We want the x-intercept, so we know y has to be 0 for the x-intercept. And y equals 0 for x-intercept. So let's do some algebra solve for x. So when you get x by itself, so we'll do any addition subtraction first. -9. These guys cancel. Multiply by 2, so we divide by multiply -2 divided by -2. So it looks like x is minus cancel 9/2 or 4.5. Check answer. Yep, 4.5. All right. So let's see. How confident are you that you can graph a linear equation from a data table? I think we did it pretty well. How confident are you that you can determine points from slope from 2 points? I think we did it pretty well. How confident you identify the x and y intercepts? Pretty good. How confident you can write a linear equation? That's pretty good. How confident are you that you can set up and solve a linear equation? That's pretty good. Okay, so what we've done, we've completed how to graph from a table, how to get slope from 2 points, ID'd x and y intercepts, write a linear equation, and set up and solve a linear equation. So with that being done, we have completed 8A interactive tutorial. So I'll close out this file. Now you can go back and look over this one yourself and do it yourself to get the point credit for the video. And we'll be back shortly and we'll do question 1. So I'll see you in a little bit.